see if this works from my tablet. Okay. It says I'm live streaming. Let's see. Alright, sweet. It's going to be very slow, I assume. I'm on a very slow computer. I apologize, guys. So, just doing a quick thing for Semperfi. He set up a thing for 5 comics that you would read over and over, or would take on a deserted island with you, or something similar to that. This is probably extremely jumpy, at least from what I can tell, so I apologize, guys. This should be recording. If not, then I'll try and post it up again. Oh, hey, how's it going there, Tat? You'll see yourself in the background, or myself in the background. So, a little delay. Yeah, this is very, very bad. I'm going to have to fix that later. So, response video 5 comics. Really, in all honesty, they're all from the same series. I think a lot of people would do that because I don't know of many comics that just one comic will actually entertain me. So, the 5 that I choose are actually, 2 of them are mounted on my wall, if you can see them. Batman Superman number 8 and Batman Superman number 13 from the, I think it's like the 2002, 2003 series. Basically 8 through 13. The appearance of Supergirl, or reappearance of Supergirl. Not only is it one of my favorites because it was done by Michael Turner, but it was also the series that got me back into comic books when I had been on a long hiatus from when my dad closed his comic shop down in the late 90s till, 2002, 2003 when I picked those comics up. So, that is my top 5 because it's 5 comics, 8 to 13. I would definitely take those with me. I actually have the graphic novella of it set up. It's like one of those, not an omnibus, but a small group of comics put together. So, also, once again, I apologize. I'm using my tablet because I don't have anything that will really work so well. And this is the best thing I've got, and I know it's pretty laggy, at least from what I can tell on my computer over there. So, quick channel update. Basically, the reason why I have not really posted a whole lot is just because of a lot of things going on in my life. I have been still keeping up with art. I tend to post stuff on Reddit right now because it's, I found a group that does a lot of good critiquing and helping me try and grow as an artist. The other reason is because of this disaster behind me. I don't know if you guys can see all that. That's a pretty big disaster of a room. So the main reason why this is so disastrous right now is, well, one, me and my dad have decided, or at least I've convinced him, that later on this month I'll be going. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Tats. It says it's playing nice, but on my screen it looks like it's terrible, so it's fine. So, basically, me and my dad, I was able to convince him a few months ago to go ahead and set up a booth at a local convention. The one nearest is called Derby City Comic Con. And if you guys can see it in the back, maybe, let's go back here. There's a little logo that I designed for our little booth. Wall Crawler Comics is what we're going to set it up as. Basically just having to go through a bunch of my dad's comics to try and get together stuff for the convention. I'm obviously trying to set up lots of different boxes, $1, $10, $5, another $1, just stuff I'm going through and trying to get together. Trying to price some stuff up, trying to do some research on some items, things like that. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. And then the other part that is taking up the other part of my time, other than just family things, you know, hanging out with my wife and my daughter, who's getting close to 2 here in December, is just, you know, more sorting, as you guys can see. And then this lovely giant thing here, that is actually a press. So my dad actually signed me up for a class on how to press comic books, so I've learned most of the ins and outs. I'm getting ready to start working on that, and hopefully, now that I have all the equipment for it, I'll be able to start pressing a few comics, see if I can do very well at it, and turn that into its own little mini side business to go along with the comics. Mostly the booth is going to be the comics, but pressing so we can, you know, make some of our comics look a little better before we prep them for conventions, stuff like that. So I mean, once again, just all that stuff. Just going through all that crazy stuff. You guys might recognize some of the comics. I don't know. And I know the comics, but you guys might recognize a few of them. So, oh, thanks, Tat, for happy birthday. She's still got a little bit left. Her birthday is in December, so let me slide over here and hopefully get something set up to where I can have a sit. Ooh. See my head here. So yeah, thanks. I do appreciate the good looks at the con. Thanks, Tat, for being the only one watching, which is fine. I did not really. Or maybe one, or technically 2's watching, because I'm pretty sure it's me and then you. But yeah, I appreciate that. I'm really excited. Being a dad is definitely different. I was, you know, never prepared for it, I guess. But I just wanted to show off, I guess, a few of the things that's going on with me. I mean, so many comics, so many things I'm going through. Trying to find prices on different things. My dad decided to pick up the program Comic Base, which is pretty expensive. For, I think it's like $100 and something a year, and they update the prices according to wherever they get their prices. Most of them are fairly accurate. Some of them are completely outrageous. Some of them are completely undercut. So I have to be really careful. Most of the small issues are like $1, $5, $10 that I go through. Those I keep, you know, I usually price them low compared to Comic Base, because I know a lot of that stuff's based on Atomic Avenue, which is other comic collectors just trying to sell their stuff, so they tend to price a little on the high side. And then for the keys, I use it as a baseline. Most of the time, if I pop it up and I'm like, oh well, this is the first appearance of somebody I've never heard of, and it's saying that's worth $220, I go on eBay real fast. I'm like, all right, you know, I'll look this comic up, and sometimes it's, you know, pretty close in the $150 range. Sometimes it's, you know, $50, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely way off, or their market's just slightly off. So it's great for keeping track of your comic collection, and it's not bad for getting a good general idea of prices. But if you want to be really accurate, I still recommend trying to use eBay. It's the most accurate you can get, because people buy your stuff from there. So I'm trying to stop bantering on about too much nonsense. And yeah, if you guys want to see a few things that I end up doing art-wise, I go on the Reddit Learn Art. I told you about it earlier, Tat, so check that out. They're really good. I've only run across one person who was actually critiquing me like really badly. Like, he was just, I put something up there and he said, you know, you're basically bad-mouthing me on the Reddit thing, and the moderator came by, completely deleted all his comments, and said, if you don't give constructive criticism, then you're not welcome here. And the guy actually completely left the whole Reddit group. So everything I've gotten so far has been pretty good constructive criticism. So I recommend it for anybody who's pushing towards learning art because I think it's really, really cool. Unfortunately, being down in Louisville, Kentucky, there's only a few small groups of people who are available to talk to, and a lot of times it's a membership fee. So I'm a really not poor person, but I don't have a whole lot of money, so I can't throw $20, $30, $40, even $100 towards your membership fee just so I can walk in a group of people and they can tell me how they do or do not like my art, when I can, you know, throw it on Reddit and get free criticism. But I'm going to be ridiculously busy. I have a lot of comics to do, and I have a lot of comics to press. My first exciting one is going to be this one. It's in pretty rough shape. You probably can't tell because you can never tell anything based on camera, but it is rippled to all get out. And yeah, some of that is the sleeve, but some of it is the comic. It's in pretty rough shape. Oh, okay. I'll see if I can put a link to the Reddit site on here. Let me see if I can find it, because, you know, I'm not doing anything right now anyway other than getting ready to go to bed. So let's see. Okay. There we go. Okay. There. I'll put the link in there for you there, Tat. Yeah, that's a book, or at least it was at one point, a book, comic book. Actually, I think I have it open. I'm not going to do any more damage to it than I already have now. There you go. So, you can see how bad of a shape it is in. Rippled and all kinds of crazy nonsense. And this, and the reason why I'm going for this one, I'm not going to press it first, obviously, because that would be crazy. This is a pretty good book. And first appearance of Drax, and I believe first appearance of Drax and Thanos in that terrible of a shape. So I'm gonna see if I can press it and make it at least a little better than what it is, and we'll see what happens. I have other comics I'm going to test with first. I'm not like I have this random Daredevil comic that's in bent up shape. That's going to be one of my first attempts at pressing. So yeah, and the Blood Brothers, first appearance of Blood Brothers. So a lot of and I have a number of good comics. This is probably the best one I've found, like price wise, that needs to be pressed in my dad's collection so far. There's a few that could benefit from a pressing, might get a little more out of it, but that's the one I think probably benefit the most from being a pressing. Right now, you know, this is I think it goes for a couple $100 right now, and probably be lucky to get 20-30 bucks out of that, just the fact of what comic it is. But if I press it, you know, I could probably get closer to, might be able to get closer to 100. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I appreciate everybody, all of you, just hanging out and saying hi and checking out the gigantic disaster that is, you know, behind me. This is basically what I look at when I turn around. My whole art studio is completely demolished right now. Move my head out of the way. Completely demolished right now with nothing but books, and more books. Yeah, it was pretty cool that my dad had a store at. I was a kid then, and he had it from, I think, from 94 to 97 for about 3 years. He had it, and then you know, the whole comic crash thing with all the specialty books kind of tore him out of You know, a lot of money on that. And then of course, he was, at the time, he was one of those big shops that did sports cards. So after the basketball crash, he just couldn't get people in. Most people weren't buying comics anymore. Most people weren't buying sports cards, and those were his two major lines of money, so he kind of gave up on it. But he kept all his comics from when he was in the shop. I mean, this was in his shop at one point or another, just sitting in there. So yeah. So there's a lot of plans I have in store. I'm hoping that we get the pressing business off the ground. My dad's invested, you know, at least $500 or $600 into the pressing thing. And this press we have right now, it's huge. And then I tried doing some pressing, and it's causing ripples in the back of the comics. Very fine ripples, but ripples nonetheless in the back of the comics. So we ended up needing a new pad for it, so we got a new pad. I just got that in this week, so I'm going to start burning up the press again here really soon. Yeah, I actually have a couple shops in my area that don't even sell comic books at all. I guess I can't call them a local comic book shop, I just call them a local hobby shop or hobby store. One is called Bluegrass Magic, which literally does nothing but sell Magic cards, and then they just recently started selling like Yu-Gi-Oh! and Pokemon and things like that. But they were originally just straight Magic. And then another shop opened up. They called themselves Through the Decades. They started off as a sports card shop and then dabbled a little bit in Magic, and then now they're just a big Magic shop. So yeah, in all honesty, I've picked up a number of books that I can practice on. My dad's collection has, God, thousands of books that are pretty well worthless, and a few of them in pretty rough shape. So I have quite a few to choose from for pressing, but I've picked up a few actually at it wasn't a Goodwill, it was a store nearby me that, you know, it's not a Goodwill, but it's like a Goodwill, you know, a secondhand store, whatever you want to call it. I found one nearby me and had a bunch of comics that were like 50 cents or $1. They're all old Archies that were in really bad shape, so I picked them all up to try and press them and learn how to get rid of spine roll, because that was one of the toughest ones to play around with. So let me see what else. See if there's anything else I want to touch on before I head upstairs and go to bed and dream about comic books, I guess. It's the last thing I was thinking about. I keep up the good art, Tad. I haven't had a chance to check out your channel in couple weeks, but I know every time I check it out, you've definitely improved more and more every time I see it, and it's great. You keep on practicing, you keep on getting better. Every time I draw something, I find a bunch of things I'm like, oh, I look a whole lot better. And then it was funny because when I went on to that Learn Art thing, I found out that I went to another one. It's called like Critique Art or Crit Art or something like that, is another Reddit group. I put my picture up on there and got like 10 views and not even a comment. But then I went to Learn Art and I put it on there and I got like 300 or 400 views, and one of them I got almost 20 comments on different things. So I'm sure a lot of people would love to see videos on pressing. My dad actually had to pay, I don't know how much he had to pay for me to learn how to do it. It is actually ridiculously simple to press. Now whether or not I would love to share it, but I don't know. Since my dad was the one who signed up for it, I'm not sure if the group that I signed up for will allow us to make videos on it. I can definitely make videos on what it looks like before and then what it looks like after, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do an actual, use these type of presses, get this, look for these particular objects and stuff, and this is how you set up the comics and prep them for this dry cleaning, which can be a pain in the butt and all our stuff. I mean, there's a lot to it, but it's fairly simple to explain, in all honesty. And yes, practice does make it better. So, sitting here rambling on to my one viewer, but that's okay. And I don't get to talk to you too much there, Tat. It's pretty cool to talk to someone in the community. It's been like I think 6-7 months since I've even produced a video. I can't remember how long it's been since I was trying to get back into art and trying to do the whole comic book thing for a while there. Now I just kind of draw on the side. This whole venture is taking up pretty much all my free time. So, and I'm pretty sure I hear my daughter getting upset with my wife. So I will probably be going ahead and hopping off, at least the video stream. Feel free to message me, Tad, if you want to talk anytime. I'm perfectly cool with that. And thanks, guys. And if anybody watches this video afterwards, because I'm pretty sure it puts it up here after the live stream's done, keep collecting comics. Say hi, leave stuff in the comments. I'm usually fairly active enough to say anything if anyone actually says anything to me. So, thanks a lot, guys, and thanks, Tad, for hanging out. Let me see if I know how to turn this.